15th century Bohemia is a difficult place to live in. The only things to drink are wine and vodka. The only things to eat are biscuits and gruel. And you are constantly under threat from Hussites, bandits, drunkards, thieves, Ottomans, Freddy Fazbear cosplayers, Mark Zuckerberg, satanic abominations, and Jews. Everyone speaks 5 different languages and 15 different dialects, and everyone who was supposed to be your friend is actually sharpening the knife he will stab you in the back with. Felvidek is a game about an alcoholic with PTSD traveling through villages and fields with his trusty priest sidekick, fighting off creatures that would make a Desert Storm veteran cry with dynamite and a rusty sword, ultimately confronting an all-encompassing cult that worships a monstrous representation of post-feudalism that could swallow his world whole in order to prove that his wife isn't a whore. Made in the RPG Maker engine by one guy from the Balkans, Felvidek does not look like a game that has much going for it. It starts off relatively tame and asks a lot for the player to understand the context of the world around him, and on top of all that, it seems pretty bare bones for an RPG set in the medieval period. However, once you get used to the dialogue and playstyle, you recognize that this is a game which is incredibly well made. The writing is down to earth and humorous, the animation is well prioritized, the music is unique but thematic, and the world is contained and believable. Felvidek is actually so polished that it feels like the developer wanted to compensate for using RPG Maker as its engine through sheer effort and natural talent. Ultimately, the game's sheer dedication to realistic medieval dialogue and game mechanics are surprisingly infrequent with RPGs, so while that's a thing you will have to get used to, you will appreciate being able to understand the crass jokes, backhanded quips, and critical information that permeate the writing in this game. There aren't many major characters in Felvidek, but I remember all of them due to the stellar writing and characterization. The most unrealistic thing about this game is not cultists or eldritch abominations, but that people from Eastern Europe are capable of charity. You generally only have one direction to go towards, and things such as maps, side quests, markers, and level ups are absent or incredibly minimal. So, I hope you are the type to pay attention to dialogue or you won't know where to go. This game is incredibly short, but because it doesn't overstay its welcome and doesn't require grinding, it feels incredibly satisfying to finish despite its lack of length. It wraps itself in a neat bow and answers a lot of questions that I didn't expect an answer from. Felvidek is a dedicated, simple, but intriguing title. Despite its simplicity, I immediately fell in love with it. The game scratches a lot of my personal itches, and its ending is incredibly memorable, being both satisfying to beat and leaving you wanting more. A bite-sized adventure with a lot of charm, and one that constantly had me asking, I can't wait to see what happens next.